Hello, and welcome to the Cardinal News of Virginia, a podcast from Cardinal News. We're a nonprofit independent newsroom serving Southwest and Southside Virginia at cardinalnews.org. I'm Lisa Rowan, filling in for Dutchy Jesse. The Cardinal podcast is sponsored by Muneris, serving communities with expert group benefits and Medicare solutions. Today, we're joined by Dean Paul Stevens, a Cardinal reporter covering Martinsville and Henry County. Dean, welcome back to the show.
Hi, Lisa. Thanks for having me.
If you have looked for a place to live lately, you might know that there is a nationwide housing shortage. The Martinsville area that Dean covers is one example of that challenge. Dean, what can you tell us about the housing options in the Martinsville area and the challenges that residents face when it comes to housing availability?
Yeah, things are not looking good here when it comes to housing and housing availability. I can actually speak from experience. Back when I first started here, about 3 years ago now, moving from North Carolina to Martinsville, I remember they gave me maybe like a month to find housing within Martinsville. And it took me that entire month to find anything. I mean, I love the apartment I'm currently living in, but it was like a last minute find. Um, there wasn't any sort of housing, like as far as like apartments were concerned, like everything was booked. It was a struggle trying to find housing in Martinsville. And apparently that I'm not the only one who has had that experience. People who try to move to Martinsville find themselves having to find accommodations in nearby Danville or Collinsville, that are also dealing with their own housing issues as well. It's a sort of like a regional sort of issue that's going on here.
Yeah, and that's something where, like you were coming to Martinsville with yourself, right? You weren't
Yes.
looking for a home where multiple children could live. Like this sounds like it's something that's affecting homes of all sizes in the area.
Yeah. Whether you're single, you're a couple, you have a family with kids. It's the whole thing. It's everything.
So this is an issue that is well known in the Martinsville area. Tell me what local officials are doing or trying to do about the lack of housing options in the area.
Yeah. It's been an issue for several years now. I remember, I believe it was last year, I actually did a story on the town trying to update their and I'm blanking on what it's called, the citywide plan
Mm.
that they have to update every few years or so. The last time the city updated their plan was several years ago, and it specifically said within that plan that housing is going to continue to be an issue for the city. So this isn't something like that's like new, and it's a new thing that city officials are dealing with. They've been dealing with this for several years now. As far as I guess trying to find solutions to it, they've been working with different organizations like United Way. The Harvest Foundation has stepped into the issue, and they've also been funding various projects and whatnot. Um, uh, West Piedmont Planning District and several other regional organizations have been working with local officials, specifically the city council, to try and renovate old houses and build new houses to add to the inventory they already have.
Mhm. And I'm wondering how the housing issue and the workforce development issues fit together in this region. I know that a lot of industry left the Martinsville area and, locals are trying to bring a lot of that industry back. But I wonder if there's places to put people who might be coming to the Martinsville area to work. I know you recently wrote about a tin production facility that's coming
Yeah.
to Henry County that'll employ like 120 people. And I was thinking like, is there a place to put them, or are these companies trying to hire locally so that people don't have to relocate to the area?
Yeah, no, no, no. Those two issues definitely go hand in hand. The region has been attracting new businesses to come in and establish basically set up shop in the region. And one of the concerns that some of these companies have is where they're going to put their employees if um, housing continues to be an issue. So workforce housing is definitely, I guess you could say, like a bottleneck to some of these companies coming in and working within the Martinsville, Henry County area.
So that's something we'll be keeping an eye out as companies try to come in and what the city is doing to try to increase the housing inventory. One of the things
Mhm.
that surprised me was thinking about tearing down homes in order to help the housing situation. I know over the
Mhm.
summer you wrote about a project in Henry County to demolish blighted homes. How
Yeah.
widespread is that issue in the county, and what's the plan there?
Henry County definitely has its fair share of homes that most people would consider to be blighted. Uh, I know that one of the major projects that they're trying to tackle is the Villa Heights project, where it's essentially a neighborhood where around a dozen homes were designated as blighted, and they're now trying to demolish those homes and build up new ones, they call it affordable housing, but each of the homes are somewhere around the neighborhood of like $200,000, which I suppose is affordable for housing, but it's still on the pricey side. But anyway, Villa Heights is one of the projects that they're pursuing, and I believe what they're planning on doing is using the Villa Heights project as sort of like a springboard into other projects that specifically focuses on rundown houses and basically either renovating those houses or just completely demolishing them and starting over.
Yeah, it's funny when we talk about housing and housing prices, it's all relative, right? It's like something might be labeled affordable, but it definitely, your perspective may vary.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Yeah. We can't think about housing issues in Martinsville, Henry County without thinking about the issue of homelessness, which I know that you've reported on quite extensively recently.
Mhm.
Martinsville has a warming center during colder months for people experiencing homelessness. Tell us about that center and what it does in the community.
Yeah. The Warming Center has been a big help as far as addressing the homelessness issue here in Martinsville. When I first covered them, when I started 3 years ago, they were located in a somewhat small church. They didn't really have a lot of space to put people up in, but they've since moved to a larger location that also houses the Salvation Army. So they've been able to, increase the number of people that they help. Essentially, they're a seasonal organization. They start up when temperatures dip below, I believe dip below 40 degrees
Mm.
in the fall and winter months. And when that happens, people come by, they register with the organization, and then the organization essentially gives them a place to stay overnight. And in the mornings, I guess you could say they sort of bridge the gap between the homeless people who use the warming center and the organizations that are trying to reach out to to help these people. So they're sort of like a one-stop shop as far as like the whole homelessness issue is concerned. But the problem with that is they only operate during the fall and winter months. So during the spring and summer, there really isn't an organization that serves that purpose. They are talking about opening a shelter for those months, but as of right now, it's just conversations that are going on between organizations and public officials and whatnot.
So let me clarify the warming center that exists when it's cold out. Is that run by the city or community partners, or is it a combination?
No, it's not run by the city. It's
Okay.
run by the city does provide funding to them, but it's mostly run by volunteers and people who work specifically for the warming center.
I see. Okay. And so yeah, when we're thinking about, during the summer months and the warmer months, yes, frostbite and the dangers of being out in the cold aren't an issue, but heat is also a
Yeah,
concern with people who are experiencing homelessness. So it sounds like the goal is to make a year-round option for people who are dealing with the elements and not having a place to stay that's safe.
exactly. Yes.
I know that in September, Martinsville City Council discussed applying for a United Way grant that would help the city's work to alleviate homelessness. Can you tell us about that and what the status might be? I know it may be early and you may not have any updates yet.
Yeah, the city is partnering with United Way to both to do a possibly maybe set up some sort of a shelter, if not to set up a, I guess you could, for lack of a better word, call it a day center
Mm.
for people to, to stop by and sign up for various programs and whatnot. Like you said, it's still it's still in its infancy, but they are trying to get the ball rolling on on that particular effort.
Dean, I know if people want to get in touch with you to learn more about this topic or your coverage in Martinsville and Henry County, they can reach you at dean@cardinalnews.org. It's DEAN. Dean, I get the sense from this that you're not planning on looking for a new place to live anytime soon. You're going to stay put since you have housing that you found.
Yeah, I don't really have much of a choice.
Thanks for being here, Dean. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And thank you for listening to the Cardinal News of Virginia. Thanks to our sponsor, Muneris, to Sean Eddy of Eddy Alexander for production support, and to Cardinal News' Zach Shelton. Read all of our paywall-free local news coverage at cardinalnews.org. I'm Lisa Rowan. Take care now.